Good afternoon, good morning. This is Mark Johnson. Welcome to the overview for the Fireside Chat we are going to have with A.J Schneider. A.J is the EVP at Wheaton World Wide Moving, Bekins van line. A.J, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Absolutely.
Well, why don't you just do a quick introduction about you, your role with the organization. I would love to learn more about what you guys are doing and what your role is.
Sure. So I'm the executive vice president at the company, and there are various departments that kind of report up to me that involve customer loyalty, customer engagement. Those include our sales and marketing department, our agency development department, our customer service and move management department, as well as our military department.
Excellent. One of the things that you're looking at, you're doing some training employees. You have a kind of a unique opportunity that you're looking at, kind of a challenge. Can you tell us a little bit about how your organization is structured and what you're looking at from a employee training perspective? Because you have some very unique metrics, and kind of the process you're looking to evolve is very unique as well. I'd love to learn a little bit more about that.
Sure. Yeah, we do have a bit of a unique business model, certainly compared to maybe many of your other members. We are an affiliate-based model rather than a franchise. So what that means is that the 350 or so agents that represent us around the country represent one of our brands, either Wheaton World Wide Moving or Bekins van lines. They're all independently owned and operated organizations on their own. And when they do interstate moving household goods across state lines from one state to the other, that's when we kick in and when they use our brand. When they do their local moving or intrastate moving within the state, that's a completely separate business, and all of that revenue and all of the things that surround that is something that they take care of. We don't participate in that. So when we talk about employee engagement, what we're really talking about is agent engagement. And that becomes a very difficult, challenging model to deal with, because these are folks who, again, are independently owned and operated companies who are not technically required to follow our lead in terms of their behavior on the ground, the types of services they provide. There are ways that we'd like to see our brand be represented, and so the challenge is to get them to represent it in those ways, and that's where the engagement comes in. That's where our training comes in to try and get them to kind of fall in line with that.
Can you talk real quick? You've mentioned that there's a number of communication touch points you should have. There's both kind of a series of trainings that you have, but when you realize things break down, especially on the communication side, that has an impact on NPS for the organization and other metrics you have. So getting these affiliates and these agents to understand the importance of training, the importance of the processes that you develop is very important to them. Can you maybe talk a little bit about that challenge?
Absolutely. So what I often tell employees, and they're probably tired of hearing me say, is that 99% of the time when there's a quote-unquote service failure in the delivery of our services, it's not a physical service failure most of the time. It's typically a communications failure. Somebody forgot to make a phone call, we made a phone call too late, we didn't do a good job of organizing a move ahead of time. Any of those kinds of things I kind of put under the umbrella of communication, and so we can very clearly trace back any deficiencies most often to that type of breakdown. So when we started using, we revamped our customer survey and really began to focus on NPS scores and the customer experience probably about 5 years ago. We were pretty shocked at how tight that relationship between communication and positive outcomes were. That sounds like that shouldn't be a shocking thing, but when you see it in black and white, when you actually start to see that data be compiled, it's a pretty direct correlation. What you and your audience probably know better than we do, but something that we've really taken to heart is that when the NPS score is about 50 or above, that's when you really start to see sort of the monetization of quality. In other words, the referrals that begin to happen with happy customers who talk about you to their friends and relatives and so on, that really has a financial impact, a positive financial impact moving forward. And that's really what we try to bring to our agents, is to say, hey, look, if we stick to these processes, if we stick to these procedures, if we communicate the way that we're supposed to, that's going to result in these positive outcomes, which ultimately, which is what everybody wants to hear, result in further revenue.
Excellent. And that's what we're going to talk about on the Fireside Chat, the monthly member meeting next Monday at 1 p.m. So it'd be a great opportunity for other brands going to join in and hear your process, right? How you look at training, how you redevelop the process, and some of the challenges or opportunities you're seeing. What would you like to see from other brands aside from their feedback? What would you like to have them come prepared to discuss?
Yeah, I'll tell you what would be really fantastic. Again, it's tough for us in the sense that there really isn't a model that's identical to the way that the moving and storage business is set up. And I would suspect that some of your members and some of the folks who are going to be in the audience on Monday have models that maybe come close to it. And I'd love to hear from those folks. What are the things that you guys do to influence folks who technically are not your employees in order to get them to comply or to exhibit a certain level of behavior, to adhere to a certain set of processes and procedures that we all know, again, will result in a jump in revenue. So any techniques, any best practices that you guys have out there that we could piggyback on would be fantastic.
Excellent. And what we would also like to see too, I think, is any brands who may necessarily kind of have similar where the franchise gets some of the hotels, some of the fuels that potentially could be on, could be very relevant. But I also think too, just the whole idea around training and how they're looking at training and how they're getting to buy in, how they're getting to have that shared belief between them. I think would be interesting for kind of the more traditional models as well. But we'll do our best to get as much feedback on that. So thank you very much for this brief overview. We'll edit this up and get this out to everyone, and looking forward to the call next Monday for sure.
Great. Thanks so much. Look forward to it.